Hey everybody, Sean from Media Assault here, and this week I wanted to do a review of a movie that's a little more current. This is a movie I actually went out to the theater to see this weekend, which is something I don't do very often, and it's one of the reasons that I wanted to review this film is because I wasn't even aware it existed until maybe 3 days ago. I happened to see a review on GabnDad's channel, and if you've never checked them out, I highly recommend that you do so. I'll put a link below. But there was a video on their channel called, the review was for the Adjustment Bureau, and I had no idea what that was. So just out of curiosity, I clicked on it and watched the review and was surprised that the premise of the film sounded like something completely up my alley, but I had no idea this movie even existed. So I made a point to make the time to go out and see it this weekend, and I'm really glad I did. For those of you who are just as ignorant as I was about this film, the plot revolves around a Senate candidate named David Norris, who's played by Matt Damon, who has a chance encounter with a woman named Elise, played by Emily Blunt. And they immediately fall in love. It's a love at first sight type situation, but he is never supposed to see her again. And if you're wondering who dictates that type of arrangement, it's a shadowy group called the Adjustment Bureau who work for the chairman. And the chairman is sort of a thinly veiled euphemism for God. But what the Adjustment Bureau does is they make kind of subtle adjustments to people's lives when they go, quote-unquote, off-plan, when they make choices or decisions or things that happen in their life that kind of cause what they call a deviation, and things aren't going to end up as they should as directed by the chairman. So the Adjustment Bureau they have all sorts of kind of cool abilities to wipe people's brains or erase memories and stuff like that. I won't give too much away. But what happens is that David is so in love with Elise based on this one encounter, he's constantly thinking about her, and yet he is not supposed to run into her. But chance, which the Adjustment Bureau allows to happen from time to time, kind of steps in by chance, and they meet again, and the Adjustment Bureau kind of doesn't know what to do about this chance encounter that Elise and David have again. And so it's sort of a romantic element kind of wrapped up in this sort of science fiction-y plot device. It's really an interesting premise. It's really a well-done film. I think if I sit down and really think about it, I will probably uncover some plot holes, but I am blissfully ignoring them right now just because it's a very well-crafted film. I wouldn't say it's a little film because it's a fairly big-budget looking type film. The acting is really well done. Matt Damon is, his typical likable self. Emily Blunt is a beautiful woman, and she proves herself a very capable actress, keeping up with Matt Damon in this film. Terrence Stamp is in it. Of course, he is the mighty General Zod in the Superman films. Here he plays Thompson, a member of the Adjustment Bureau who's nicknamed the Hammer, who they wheel out to make sure that Elise and David don't meet. John Slattery from the Mad Men TV series is also in this, and Anthony Mackie, who is in a lot of films and looks familiar, but I can't think of exactly what he's been in lately. He's really good. He's really likable in this film too. He plays one of the members of the Adjustment Bureau named Harry. This movie was written and directed by George Nolfi, who is responsible for writing things like Timeline, The Sentinel from 2006 with Michael Douglas. He did Ocean's 12, and he also wrote the screenplay for The Bourne Ultimatum, which gives him some exposure to Matt Damon in the past. The script on this is based on a Philip K. Dick short story called The Adjustment Team. I don't know how faithful it is to the source material. But nevertheless, it is a very cool premise. It is well executed. It's well worth seeing. I paid like $6.75 to see this. I would, have gladly paid full price. I saw it during a matinee, but I would have gladly paid the evening price for it. It's worth checking out in the theater. So there you go. If I had to give it a rating, I would give it probably a 7.5 out of 10. It's flawed. It's not perfect. And like I said, if I sat down and thought about it for too long, I would probably start thinking of things that I don't like about it. But right now, I would say it's worth seeing. GabnDad called it Inception Light, I believe, and I think it was actually promoted as being kind of like the Bourne Identity meets Inception. I would kind of strip away the Inception comparisons. I really didn't see that so much, unless you're thinking in terms of the alternate reality type aspect of it. But Inception was more about dreams. This is more about changing actual reality. And I think this is definitely not a better film. It's just a different film. And if you go into it looking for anything resembling the Bourne Identity or the Bourne Ultimatum or any of the Bourne films, you're going to be disappointed. This is not an action movie. It's primarily a romance with some science fiction elements. And there's some action, but it's definitely nothing on the level of a Bourne film. So I'll give it a 7.5 out of 10. And if you've got nothing better to do, check it out at the theater. So there you go. So thanks for watching, and as always, feel free to rate, comment, and subscribe. And we'll check you out later. Thanks for watching.